Now, there are a number of considerations which we'll look at, and these are the various steps. So this is how to look at your project. The environmental standards aspect deals with the project's impact on the environment. However, there's also another approach which works together with the environmental standard, which is the climate approach, to recognize, number one, the impact of climate hazards on your project. Because you could have a project, a location, because that location is where your grandparents' land is, but your project begins to be flooded. You have flooding issues, you have issues related to swamps, and a number of other things. So you need to identify what climate hazards may potentially affect my project. There could be rainstorm, there could be high rainfall, there could be high temperature and drought. Then two, you need to also look at your project's alignment with climate policy. You may be in a country like Nigeria or Angola or Ghana. They have clear climate policies that have been set aside by that government. You want to see how your project aligns with that. So Nigeria government may say they want to reduce greenhouse emissions by a certain percentage, or you could have some form of reducing flare gas, flare gas from the oil fields. Whatever climate policies are, your project should not be working to negate that country's climate policy. You want your project to be set up in such a way that it helps to even improve it and provide that level of direction. Then, before you begin the project, before you purchase the power plant, before you purchase the gas plant, you should be able to pre-assess the project's GHG emissions, even right from design. It's not until you bring in your power plant or your gas plant, or you bring in whatever infrastructure, then you're now saying, oh, I didn't know this project, this assets will be emitting so much of, CO2 emissions, into the atmosphere. Right from design, you should have clear design considerations on what level of, GHG emissions, greenhouse emissions will be coming out from this project. Then you should also consider potential adaptation and resilience measures. Adaptation has to do with this project is located in this country, and this country has huge amount of droughts. What do I need to put into my project design in such a way that it allows it to be able to make and meet certain outputs that it requires, irrespective of the climate hazard that can potentially happen within that country. Then resilience also is, the things you are also putting into your project to make it resilient to strong climates, whatever. Then you could also propose mitigation measures to compensate for that, GHG emissions. Mitigation measures could also be you using some level of technology in your byproduct for your petrochemical plant, which ordinarily you shouldn't have used, but you think if you focus on this technology as a byproduct, it will reduce the GHG emissions drastically. And finally, you want to prioritize climate strategies. You want to ensure that looking at all the options in developing this gas plant or this power plant or developing these airports, right? We want to choose those measures that are more climate proof and are better able to make sure that are more adaptable to the environment in itself.